bad will this leaked Ari Emanuel audio affect the Justin Baldoni case? I got that question and many more that we got an amazing...
A massive shockwave has just hit Hollywood's legal world, sending tremors through the industry as word emerges that a previously private conversation involving Ari Emanuel, the high-powered agent behind some of the biggest stars on the planet, may have been secretly recorded and leaked overnight. That alleged audio has become a central weapon in Justin Baldoni's explosive lawsuit against Blake Lively's camp, intensifying months of swirling rumors about sabotage, stealth takedowns, and hush-hush deals that could derail entire careers. The leak has taken whispered suspicions and thrown them into the public eye, with transcripts that could prove pivotal in a bitter legal battle. This isn't typical celebrity drama. It's raw, unfiltered power in motion, and potentially destructive. At the center is a top agent who seemed to hold entire careers in the palm of his hand, and a star who claims those hands crushed his trajectory for good. The key question now is whether these revelations can unravel a complex web of deals, alliances, and hidden agendas that have quietly shaped Hollywood for years. The stakes are monumental. Ari Emanuel, the industry titan often rumored to be the real-life inspiration for certain high-profile Hollywood characters, runs WME, an agency whose influence can make or break careers almost overnight. Justin Baldoni, actor, director, and producer, had been on a steady rise until, according to his lawsuit, he was caught in a crossfire of defamatory claims that led to major lost opportunities, including a rumored Pac-Man movie deal that allegedly disappeared because powerful figures withdrew support. Blake Lively, a household name celebrated for her comedic and dramatic roles and massive social media following, now finds herself defending not only her reputation but also her business ventures, including a skincare line she claims was undermined by negative press tied to this controversy. WME, the once seemingly unstoppable powerhouse agency, now finds itself at the eye of a legal storm. If the leaked audio proves Emanuel acted with deliberate malice or at the behest of other influential figures, the agency's credibility could be irreparably damaged. Top-tier attorneys on both sides are preparing for battle, each determined to prove their version of events, with one side arguing that false claims directly sabotaged Baldoni's career and opportunities, while the other seeks to maintain Lively's reputation and business interests amidst the fallout. As the leaks circulate and Hollywood watches with bated breath, the implications extend far beyond the courtroom. Every transcript, every recorded line, every fragment of strategy revealed in the audio has the potential to reset how power, influence, and accountability function behind the scenes. By the time this case unfolds, it may not just affect the parties involved. It could force a reevaluation of industry norms, exposing the fragility of carefully curated images and the high stakes of silence, complicity, and unchecked authority. What was once private has become public, and in the end, this scandal may prove that no star, no agency, and no deal is untouchable when the machinery of Hollywood collides with raw legal and personal reckoning.
Allowing the respective lawyers to just deem anything that they want.
The stakes in this case are astronomical because we're not just talking about reputations. We're talking about tens of millions of dollars in potential damages, alongside professional harm that could take years to repair, if it's even reparable at all. Hollywood's gatekeepers, the agents and power brokers who decide who succeeds and who gets quietly sidelined, wield influence like a chess master moving pieces across a board. And if Ari Emanuel's alleged words are authentic, they reveal a system where careers can be terminated not on merit but on personal relationships and whim. Sources suggest the audio, purportedly recorded during a Freakonomics podcast episode that was never publicly released, captures Emanuel making admissions that could redefine what accountability looks like in Tinseltown. Rumor has it, Emanuel essentially confirmed that WME dropped Justin Baldoni not because of any proven wrongdoing, but because influential figures demanded it, immediately and without due process. The conspiratorial questions multiply quickly. How does a respected podcast with a flawless track record suddenly fail to record an episode featuring one of Hollywood's most powerful agents? Insiders whisper that a quiet phone call from a top-tier star or industry heavyweight may have prompted the entire episode to vanish, erasing the conversation from public and official archives. One alleged line from the recording has Emmanuel admitting, almost casually, "If the allegations are true, that's messed up, but hey, I'm friends with them, so I fired him," a statement that, if authenticated, is a legal bombshell in Baldoni's defamation and tortious interference claims. It implies that WME ignored facts and let personal relationships dictate decisions, cutting ties with Baldoni without verifying the truth simply because certain clients wanted it done. Though Emmanuel has not publicly confirmed the validity of the leaked recording, the mere existence of it transforms speculation into near proof, offering the kind of clarity that typically eludes defamation cases. Usually, plaintiffs must painstakingly connect the dots between reputational harm and actual consequences, but here, the dots appear to be drawing themselves. Hearing the top agent admit he terminated representation because of personal influence is drastically different from conjecture. It is a direct line from rumor to action. From a legal standpoint, the potency lies in causation, establishing that someone's words or actions directly caused professional and financial harm. Baldoni claims he lost job after job, including major film deals, because allegations painted him as difficult or untrustworthy. Until now, proving causation could be murky. Maybe producers reconsidered. Maybe deals fell through for normal business reasons. This audio flips that narrative entirely. If a jury hears Emmanuel himself say he fired Baldoni due to personal connections and not factual wrongdoing, that provides a smoking gun, linking false narratives to real-world consequences. Baldoni no longer needs to speculate about lost opportunities. The admission from the top of WME establishes a direct line between the agency's decisions and his career setbacks. From a damages perspective, this could be catastrophic for those implicated. Had WME conducted a proper investigation rather than yielding to pressure, Baldoni might have retained representation, maintained film deals, and preserved brand partnerships. Now, every misstep, every canceled project, every deal that dissolved under suspicious circumstances could be tied directly to the alleged abuse of power, shifting the courtroom conversation from ambiguity to near certainty. If validated, the leaked audio does more than illuminate a single decision. It exposes the fragility of careers in an industry where influence often outweighs integrity, where connections can override facts, and where the consequences of a single call or text reverberate for years. Baldoni's case, already high-profile, has now acquired an unprecedented edge. The ability to demonstrate with evidence, not conjecture, that false statements and personal favoritism directly reshaped his career trajectory, creating a legal and reputational storm whose fallout could rewrite Hollywood's rules for how influence is exercised, accountability is enforced, and power is measured. With the Emmanuel audio surfacing, the stakes suddenly escalate from reputational damage to the possibility of multi-million-dollar restitution. Jurors or a judge could interpret Emmanuel's alleged remarks as either blatant malice or gross negligence, and if they deem his actions especially reckless or calculated, punitive damages could push any payout into the stratosphere. The leak also paints a picture of a deeply entwined Hollywood ecosystem where star power trumps facts. If Emmanuel is recorded saying he acted as a favor to a major client, that statement alone signals a system in which influence can crush or silence another party without proper due process, potentially supporting claims of intentional infliction of harm and adding another layer of legal jeopardy for the defendants. But the story doesn't stop there. Baldoni also has a pending claim against the New York Times, one of the most influential publications on the planet, and this subplot reads like a meticulously plotted drama. According to Baldoni's lawsuit, the Times allegedly participated in, or at least orchestrated, a carefully timed takedown, publishing stories that mirrored the same falsehoods circulating through Hollywood. How does this tie to the newly surfaced audio? Enter the TikTok sleuths, an army of online investigators dissecting metadata, publication dates, and coordinated social media activity, uncovering evidence suggesting that the Times may have been preparing negative coverage on Baldoni far earlier than publicly admitted. Theories abound that certain PR representatives, perhaps tied to Emmanuel's inner circle or Lively's team, may have fed the rumors or signaled when to publish, creating a suspiciously synchronized narrative designed to damage Baldoni's career. The legal implications are significant. Suing a major newspaper for defamation in the U.S. is notoriously difficult. Publications enjoy broad protections if they can claim they acted in good faith, relying on sources they believed credible. The Times is well-versed in these defenses and rarely loses, but if evidence emerges that the paper colluded with powerful Hollywood players to smear Baldoni intentionally, ignoring red flags about the truth, then the stakes suddenly become much higher. The leaked Emanuel audio could be pivotal, revealing synergy between the agency and journalists, suggesting that the negative coverage wasn't accidental or independently reported, but part of a coordinated effort. In this scenario, Baldoni's legal team could argue that the narrative wasn't just a coincidental echo of rumors, but a deliberate amplification designed to suppress him professionally and financially, turning a standard defamation case into a courtroom showdown capable of exposing the hidden mechanics of influence, favoritism, and manipulation at the very top of Hollywood. The stakes are higher than ever because if Baldoni's team can demonstrate that the New York Times knew, or should have known, that the allegations circulating about him were false, yet ran the stories anyway to protect or appease star clients, the scenario transforms from standard reporting into potential defamation territory. Even the most seasoned legal teams face a steep uphill battle against a publication with deep pockets, decades of experience, and a storied history of free press defenses, but the leaked Emanuel audio could provide enough ammunition to force a high-stakes showdown, whether in court or at the negotiating table. The risk of public embarrassment, even for a celebrated media institution, cannot be underestimated. Under ordinary circumstances, high-profile disputes like this are quietly settled behind closed doors. Lawyers negotiate confidentiality agreements, money exchanges hands, and the public hears nothing more than a bland statement about an amicable resolution. But this case is anything but ordinary. Justin Baldoni has made it clear he is fighting to clear his name and recover what he claims are massive professional and financial losses. A quiet settlement without an admission of wrongdoing from the other side could be perceived as tacit validation of the rumors, leaving a permanent stain on his reputation, a risk he is unwilling to take. On the other side, Blake Lively has publicly contested Baldoni's claims, arguing that his camp is twisting facts and orchestrating a spectacle. Her brand extends beyond acting into business ventures, philanthropy, and a carefully curated, wholesome public persona. Agreeing to hush money or a behind-closed-doors apology could be interpreted as an admission of guilt, potentially undermining everything she has built. Then there's A.R. Emanuel, a high-powered agent whose reputation as an untouchable kingmaker rests on maintaining authority and control. A settlement that required him, or WME, by extension, to issue a formal apology or pay a substantial sum would be a severe blow to his carefully constructed aura of invincibility, and it's unlikely he would agree. Adding another layer of complexity are the attorneys themselves. Some thrive in the spotlight, drawn to high-profile cases that can elevate their prestige and fees, especially if they sense a winnable battle. The result is a perfect storm. No side is willing to back down because each has too much to lose. Baldoni seeks vindication. Lively aims to protect her empire and public image, and Emanuel wants to preserve the perception of absolute influence. The convergence of high stakes, public scrutiny, and reputational risk sets the stage for a protracted and potentially vicious legal battle, one likely to produce additional leaks, new revelations, and sustained media frenzy. The narrative is messy, unpredictable, and dangerous, and even observers struggling to parse truth from rumor recognize the intensity. If the allegations and recordings are accurate, the case exposes the hidden mechanics of influence, favoritism, and control in Hollywood, and it underscores a simple truth. Power is rarely checked without consequence, and those who dare challenge it risk everything, even if they are right. In short, this fight is far from over, and the fallout could reshape perceptions of justice, accountability, and authority at the very top of the entertainment industry.